restitution of $540. Pled to theft by theft charge out, restitution $5,600. Concurrent 5-year probation. Did the restitution and did the probation. And I went forth and sinned no more.
So you pretty much got out of the telemarketing?
Oh, no, we got that. That's going back over 20 years ago. No. If you want to work on Saturdays and you're, whether you're selling advertising or whether you're begging, who are you going to call on a Saturday morning? Who's going to be there? A beauty shop. I mean, the owner.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
A beauty shop.
Yeah.
So you get your Dun & Bradstreet microcosm out, and by zip code, it's got SIC, Standard Industrial Classification.
Uh-huh.
It's got, it's a four-digit code, and you look under beauty shops.
Right.
And in any zip code you want to work, that's called the Dun & Bradstreet microcosm. And it's got beauty shops.
Right.
And if you want to work on Saturday and make some extra money, who are you going to call on Saturday? You're going to call Jones Manufacturing and try to get the boss on Saturday morning? No. I mean, the argument against that is that the owner's going to be there, but they're going to be so busy that they won't talk to you. Well, that's your average person, not me. Yeah. I get through to the person that answers the phone. They think I know the lady or guy. I get them on the phone. Bam, 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 bam. I don't ask for too much. And hey, just to get me off the phone, hey, give me $10, give me $20, give me $25. Can't do $25. You got to remember, back 20 years ago, this stuff was epidemic. People would log, literally. I've had people plenty of times. They keep a log of it. They would log over 250 calls a year of the nature I was giving them. Okay, they would set a budget up. Your typical small business owner
was once tax write-off for them.
Yeah, they'd set up. I'm going to give away $2,000 this year, $3,000, and they'd give it away first come first serve. And when the budget was gone, you couldn't get it. If it wasn't, you couldn't. Because they'd tell you why. I've had 200 people call me, and I've given away $3,000, about $10 a piece. Okay, and you couldn't get it. If you did, you did, and that's the way it was. And so that's where that beauty shop comes from.
So they're working on Saturday, and that's primarily...
That's their day. That's when the owner is going to be there. That's the busiest time of the week on any beauty shop. It's Saturday morning.
Do they tend to give up good money as far
as
women in there? And
what?
Women tend to give the money up a little bit easier sometimes.
Not
play
at
on
all.
the heartstrings.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. I'm going to tell you something. You take it from me.
Really?
No. You know what you're being fooled by? You're all being fooled. You're being fooled by a woman's instinct, not her free will. Her instinct is that of nurturing. Mm-hmm. That's because she raises the kids. Mm-hmm. And you're being fooled by her nurturing instinct, and she has a soft spot for kids and small furry animals. But I'm going to tell you something. You take it to the bank, pal, and you take it from a guy that begged professionally for over 20 years. The sex that is the most avaricious, accumulative, greedy, and heartless is women.
Really?
Is women. I've had more women take the check right out of their husband's hand. Call up Joe's Stop and Go out in Rex, Georgia. Hey, Joe, $25. Go out there to pick it up. Be right the thing. This fucking battle axe wife. What you doing there? And you're not getting that. And just take the thing. Don't listen. That's why we're in the condition we're in. Don't ever forget this. You don't be fooled by a woman's nurturing instinct. Look at their free will personalities, and you're going to find women are the most hateful, avaricious, accumulative, greedy, and heartless. My God, when the American Indians, the woodland Indians, and the Iroquois and so forth in the northeast U.S., they'd bring a captive back to torture. It was like they were inflicting, one captive. There's a sociological, cultural reason for it I could explain to you, but just let me say. When they'd bring a captive back to torture and to death, you know who did the torturing?
No one.
Yeah, they come out with their hot coals and their sharp sticks, okay? You know who the ones that are, you send them to war. You may think, oh, my son, my son had to go to war. Well, I'll tell you, I've seen it on video more than one World War II vet been over there fighting. He'd been fighting so much that he's amongst the earliest release, come back home and have women on the street saying, You ought to be over there fighting and everything. Women are what got us in this situation we're in, man. Yeah, I mean, the reason why is, what do women want? The two things. They want their home and kids, and they want things, okay? Hey, do you think pottery was just invented 7,000 years ago? They always knew that clay would harden. The thing is, when they were hunters, and men were men, and men were in control, and they moved around, and they were free and not enslaved by the states, because when they settled down, the states were able to, they couldn't have things. You can't have pottery. You can't carry pottery around. It's too fucking heavy. It breaks, okay? So they had to use bowling bags and so forth. And women wanted their things. They wanted their pottery. They wanted their homes. They wanted to settle down. So what happened? At the end of the last ice age, the Pleistocene megafauna, the great big-ass animals, went extinct. Women used that to get men to start planting seeds and grubbing in the earth like animals, okay? And once they got them settled down on the farm, then what happened is, ecological disaster. They destroyed, men have never lived, agriculture people have never lived in harmony with nature. What they had to do was move out of the Anatolian plateau in Turkey and northern Iraq and Iran, and they had to move down into the river valleys of Mesopotamia, the Tigris and the Euphrates, ditto with the Nile. Once they moved down into those valleys, desert there, water there, irrigation, then the state was able to assume control by getting them in a hydraulic trap of these giant irrigation projects, which they did, dams, canals, everything. And once the state got control of the water, they had control of the people. And after that, humanity descended into degradation, slavery, pauperism, that 99% of all humans, the history of civilization is the history of 1% of the people, the elites. We don't even know what the dredges wore back in many times. Nothing. They were just dredges. They were, and they would intensify their production and try to get more and more. And the end result is no one could eat meat, and they were just eating mush, which most of the world still eats, rice or, whatever, maize, that kind of thing. And it's a story that's been repeated over and over. And what started it all? Women wanting to settle down and have things and have their kids. When they moved around, you see, they had to kill the girl babies. Female infanticide. The reason they had to kill the girl babies is you got 10 men, 10 women. Well, if you kill 9 of the men and leave all the women, well, that one guy can keep them all pregnant. Doesn't do any good to kill the men. You can't control the population by killing men, male babies. You can't. One guy can keep 100 women pregnant. Doesn't do any good. You got to kill the female babies. Okay. Infanticide was the dirty little dark secret of the old Stone Age, but we're still doing it in the modern times. I consider abortion infanticide, although I'm not judging. You know what I mean? It's a woman's right to choose. But hey, there's no joke about it. Listen, to abort an embryo that would otherwise come to term is killing a person. It is. It just is. And we're still killing, what, in the U.S., how many millions a year?
Yeah.
That's infanticide, just another form of it, you see. And so women wanted to have their babies, and they wanted to have their homes and things. And what has happened is that the Homo sapiens women, there's some kind of mutation in the Homo sapiens women, because before, the humans before us, which is Homo erectus, okay, they had a run of almost 2 million years. And their toolkit changed very little. The tools they made and so forth changed very little over that time. Can you imagine such an immense span of time? Homo sapiens, the very first Homo sapiens skeleton that we have now found is 164,000 years old. And more typically, Homo sapiens skeletons are no older than 70, 80, 90,000 years old. And just in that short period of time, what's happened with them as opposed to Homo erectus? Homo erectus, by the way, and so did Homo sapiens, stood taller than modern men, were stronger, were in better health, and lived as long as human beings until the year 1900. In the year 1900, the average span in the U.S. was 47 years old. And that's about what Homo erectus and early Homo sapiens lived to. They were in better health. They had not picked up these horrible diseases acquired from domestic animals such as smallpox, measles, influenza, and a host of others. Those all came from domestic animals, mutations, like your bird flu now.
But you see that in the women of today now, as far as the same type of traits that you...
Son, I'm telling you, I'm an observer, I'm a philosopher, I'm a man of vast
You're
experience.
an artist.
I've been a professional beggar for 20 years. And I'm going to tell you, who has the biggest heart? It's going to be men.
Really?
You're fooled by a woman's nurturing instincts and her softness, but a woman isn't soft. It's the difference in our personalities. Men tend to be more confrontational and grab the whole thing, while women affect an air of softness and get it a bit at a time.
Almost manipulative, you mean?
Much more so. And I always remember, they got the pussy. We're fucked. We're totally fucked. But hey, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Be a Republican, have a party. Your world is kaput. Your world is over with, pal. It's gone. Your children will never, you want your kids to grow up to be a lawyer? Forget about it. There is no future for your kids. There is none. The Muslims got us by the gasoline balls. Before, they had to come across oceans to get at us. And once they came across oceans, they had this huge country that even if they could get at us, they couldn't invade us and occupy it. Like I say, Russia soaked up invading armies twice. Napoleon with over 500,000 men. The Germans with the Germans with 3.5 million men. Okay, these were huge armies. Napoleon in 1812, over 500,000. Germans World War II, 3.5 million. Okay, soaked them up, just the vastness of it. They couldn't get at us. Now they don't have to. Again, I'm going to tell you, I've told you before, I'm going to tell you again. We have this huge, vast, interconnected socio-economic structure. You're embedded in a matrix in a world that isn't real, that has been constructed totally for you, and it's all interconnected. It's built on values which are virtual, okay, but it's built upon the harsh reality of cheap gasoline. It's a house of cards. And son, once that starts going, the cascading effects, the ripple effects of this are going to be unimaginable. But just to give you an idea of what ripple and the interconnectedness of everything, we have a bunch of people here with subprime mortgages that don't pay their mortgage. Okay. Bunch of African Americans and other low-rent people that don't pay their mortgages. And what does it end up? Our 4 national banks so far have written off $100 billion, and it's probably twice that much it's going to end up. To keep from failing, our biggest national banks, Chase Manhattan and the big 4, have had to go and sell parts of themselves for billions and billions, to overseas to stay solvent, because a bunch of people didn't pay their mortgage.
Yeah.
Okay, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now that's child's play. That's just nothing. More coffee. I know you're trying to get out of here.
No, I'm not
but
trying
but
to get out of here.
you see the interconnectedness of this. Now, what's going to happen when that what's going to happen if gasoline, if nothing goes bad? I told you before, I've handled atomic bombs. Okay, I was in special weapons. And I've handled atomic bombs that damn big, that weigh 79 pounds. And and that's assuming nothing like that happens.
Right.
That's assuming nobody gets weaponized anthrax and shuts down our postal system. All it would take is a few anthrax letters to shut down our postal system. Everybody's forgotten that. Okay, but if nothing bad happens, what's going to happen if gasoline goes up $1 a year for 10 years, and in 10 years it's at $13 a gallon? Son, it's going to bring you down. It's going to bring you down. That's why they can bring the fucking death penalty on me, okay? Go ahead, try me, bring it on, okay? Because it's going to take me 3 or 4 years to come to trial. It's going to, even at the federal level, they'll be able to knock a little time off. It's going to take an average of about 12 years to impose it, maybe even longer, really. And by then, now we're talking 17 years. This society.
Well, our case is adjudicated.
Oh, I'm talking about the future.
Right.
That's my feelings towards them.
I'm
giving you a lot of the stuff
that
I wanted to save for the profilers because they.
They're going to be interested to talk to you anyway.
Yeah, but you know something. Well, you were a little rough on me the first night, but I don't blame you. I don't blame you. You might have had a live girl on your hands for all you knew. But you've treated me fairly. You've been a man of your word. You're cops, of course. I understand that. And we're never going to be friends, but you've been a man of your word, and in the end you lived up to your deal. And in the end you treated me professionally. And so I'm giving you some. I'm giving you cooperation. I
Right.
promised you cooperation that night. I gave it to you. The only question I didn't answer was on the advice of my attorney, and I would have answered that. It was
Right.
whether she was doing from the beginning.
Right.
Yeah, she was. She
Right.
was, because I just told you, once you've done it, you're either going to kill her or get caught. There's no other solution. It's not gonna, you know.